You're naturally nervous to know that someone's firing a missile at you. Adrenaline takes over.
You've got the sea and you've got ships, you've got planes, you've got Navy personnel.
Imagine using an AI image.
You know where you need to be when somebody's firing something, when they're advancing to contact, or when to get your head down. You weren't a liability on the ground, you could look after yourself.
We didn't capture it. No one knows it happened.
People trust you and you don't show your worth, you won't be successful.
People don't realise how much time people spend away from their families defending the country. That's really important that the photographers are about to cover that.
I'm Petty Officer Sellers and a photographer in Portsmouth. In January 2023, I got the call up to fly out to HMS Diamond and join them out in the Red Sea. As soon as that general alarm goes, I need to get to the bridge in seconds. I'd have my bag next to me at all times ready to go, and I would be there because I know I need to capture that image if that missile fires. I've managed to capture the young officer watch, covering his face, one eye on the bridge to make sure the missile's fired, one eye to protect you from the night vision. Got that edited, sent back, and within a few hours, turned Sky News on. Breaking news background was that image. Pretty unbelievable to know that was my work, but I think also for the ship to see that image was a great boost to morale to show the world that everyone knew what they were doing. I'm a photographer, but I'm also a sailor, so they need people to look out. I've still got that ability to do that whilst I'm up there. You're there to support that ship and you want to show off what that ship is capable of, but if you miss that opportunity, that's gone. But if you capture it, you've got that there for life then. If we didn't have Royal Navy photographers on board the ship, people at home wouldn't actually see what that ship's doing. You've got a lot of pressure on your shoulders to make sure you capture the right thing at the right time.
I've been taken to places that I never would have expected to go to. Caving in Antarctic with Royal Marines, breaking through the ice in Alaska in a submarine, standing in the Oval Office with just David Cameron and Obama. Who gets to do that? What job do you get to do that? As soon as you hear the sort of first crackings, hit the video onto record and then you just start taking those photos. And it's one of my favourite ever photos. My best experience was Operation Polar Bear. The operation was to evacuate British citizens from Sudan as civil war broke out. As soon as they got to us, you could see the relief. If we hadn't have got them out of that country, I don't think they would live. As a photographer, you want to capture real life events. If I don't do this, then we don't show what's really happening on the ground. We're trying to show the importance of the British military. You hear people's stories, you meet incredible people, often in extreme situations.
As photographers, we're in such a fortunate position to be able to have access and competency in creating an output that can communicate with such an enormous and diverse audience. Photography is such a powerful medium. We don't need words for our pictures. Our pictures can communicate to somebody who doesn't speak English, doesn't speak French, doesn't speak Urdu. A photograph can communicate that. From a service point of view, whether that's Army, Navy, Air Force, and even from a civilian point of view, to have access to photography and to be able to use photography for that purpose is absolutely priceless.
What, about 15 seconds? Get off that wall.
My name's Sean Clee and I'm a former Royal Navy photographer. We found ourselves being deployed on every major operation during Herrick 5. It was our job to report what was going on, to let the world know what was going on. We were travelling all the time, just our kit on our back, in and out of Bastion. Here's the next stop, move forward to that, get out, get rid of your footage, get your kit ready again, and back on the next stop.
Pull that, mate.
We shot images with people injured. It was always just carry on, shoot through, take the images. We may learn something from this, from what's going on in front of us. Sun was setting, I think it was about 20 odd Taliban just jumped up, RPGs, shot them off. Some hit that target that we were meant for, the rest come over and hit us. And as I was taking pictures of the mortar, we're dropping it in, lads dropping down, RPG come over, went straight through the roof. The shrapnel just come back on us, blew me out the side of the mortar pit. Turned around, the lad who bent over from the mortar got up, got a piece of metal sticking out of his head like that. If I could describe it as anything, it was like the opening scene from Saving Private Ryan, where your ears are ringing and you don't know what's going on. It was just like that, just smoke everywhere, dust everywhere. Flying tactically through these mountains, I was getting weaker and weaker. And for some daft reason, they let me run off the helicopter first to get the shots. The helo hits, I'm straight off, run round the front, take a knee, and I'm taking these shots. Dust clouds the Chinook, you know, it really had feeling. But I still couldn't believe that they let me off the helo first, because 10, 15 minutes later, we were straight into contact.
Just put it to your face, please. A little bit higher. And action.
My name's James Clark. I am a Royal Navy photographer and I'm currently the team leader of the video production unit. The video production unit is a specialist team within the photographic branch, and our primary aim is to create videos based around the First Sea Lord's strategic direction. These are usually high production, scripted, mimicking a civilian creative agency to really showcase the Royal Navy and the Royal Marines in the highest possible light. It's been a great honour to work on some high-profile projects for both the Navy and the Royal Marines. My favourite recent one was the Silent Night video, which was the Christmas video for the Royal Navy. It was a video that followed HMS Diamond, based on a true story of their deployment to the Red Sea, where they were actively engaging drones in a combat zone during the Christmas period. In addition to that is the Royal Marines raid film, showcases the Royal Marines raiding capability in a 9-minute cinematic video. The projects that we've done have gone down so well because they're made by people who are serving, so we've got a good idea of what people want to see, and I think that gives it a real authenticity to every film, and I think that's what lands with people, is that we can deliver something that's visually striking but also it's authentic to military life. I think one of the most rewarding parts of the job is seeing the reach and impact of our work. We've had projects featured on Piccadilly Circus, in cinemas and on billboards nationwide, not to mention the millions of views online. It's incredible to see our films reach and resonate with so many people.
Okay, just take a seat, Elena.
Here?
Yes, please.
Oh, perfect.
Cool, and then just hold it up a little bit and then clap it.
My name's Helena Burkett and I'm a photographer in the Royal Navy. Turning up to a job and taking the photos is probably like 10% of the actual job. You work from the rank of AB all the way up to the First Sea Lord, and you have to have the right personality to be able to deal with that. Being a photographer, your job changes a lot. You could be, flying out of a helicopter one day, you could be doing a funeral the next day. I think for my personality, that's quite suited to it. You need to have initiative. There's no one else that's going to hold your hand for you or do the job for you, and you need to get the job done and do it well. It can be lonely. There's no one else on board a ship that understands your role to the extent that you do. If I could sum up the branch in one sentence, it's always remain flexible. Things change last minute. I got tasked to go on Line Bay and HMS Dragon with 48 hours notice, and I was gone for basically 3 months. You just have to remain flexible in this job, and I don't think a lot of people realise it. I have a massive passion for travelling, so me being a photographer in the Royal Navy just seems like the perfect location. Probably my standout time was on the Carrier Strike Group last year on HMS Prince of Wales with a group of sailors that were all my friends doing some really cool portraits. Portrait photography is my favourite type of photography anyway, so getting to do that in a city like Tokyo, the bright lights, all the colours, it was really, really incredible. As photographers, we have an incredible reach for the limited personnel that we actually have in the branch. We capture everything important that's going on in the Navy or the Marines, and we push it out globally. Everything you see has something to do with the Navy, and it is most likely done by one of our own photographers.
Do you find it addictive?
Oh yeah, massively addictive, yeah. It was, especially with, had so many front pages, that it was basically just feeding the beast. People don't realise how much time people spend away from their families defending the country, you know, for 3, 6, 9 months a year. They need to know that then people are away and what sacrifices them are making for them. So, you know, that's really important that the photographers are about to cover that. It was the best time of my life, really, truthfully, as hard as it ever was, because for once in your life, you lived every day, lived to live every day. A drink of water, you know, you weren't going to a tap, it was warm for you. You know, if you wanted to go to the toilet, you were going in the desert, you'd take a shovel, trying to watch where you stepped, everything you had to live. So, yeah.
I can find doing funerals difficult, purely just seeing the family's grief. It is hard, but it's at the family's discretion whether they want a photographer or not. And I think people have them for different reasons. Some people want to remember the day. Some people have passed away that have small children that couldn't attend the funeral because they're just too young. Plenty of reasons as to why it's offered to have a funeral album made by an RM phot. On the way from like the church to the burial site, I had to cry on the bus and then pulled it together for the next part of the job. Even if I don't know the person, just seeing the family's grief, seeing the family's emotions. Some people get affected by that more than others, and I know that I definitely do get affected by it. I do my best to prepare for it emotionally, but I just think this isn't about me. The families are going through a really horrible time, and I just want to do my best for them at the end of the day.
Everything the Royal Navy, Royal Marines, the government, we generally want to tell that story because it's important that it's seen. Without our photos and without our video to show what events really look like, you can't tell that story successfully. You can't tell that story in words. We interviewed a veteran from World War II fighting the Japanese. He said, I can't tell you what it was like on that day to feel the fire and the planes, but my photos can show you what it was like. You see a story where other people don't see that. As a photographer, if you don't operate in a way that makes people trust you and you don't show your worth, you won't be successful.
The Navy photographs always seem to have such a global reach. You've got the sea and you've got ships, you've got planes, you've got Navy personnel in some of the most remarkable locations. It's using that opportunity to make something really good. But it does stand out. Maybe the Army and the RAF aren't going to have me as judges anymore, having said that.
We know that the world is flooded with imagery, but a lot of it's not real, a lot of it's AI. We know that people that aren't generally friendly to the UK are flooding this country with information that's probably not real. We don't lie about what's going on. We don't lie about what we do. The important thing is that you're capturing real life. If you create an image of sailors, for instance, what about the real sailors? Imagine using an AI image of made-up sailors instead of sailors that are actually doing the job.
There's a lot of responsibility on Navy photographers to accurately collect the story or the activity that's happening and portray it in the best light. Otherwise, we do risk damaging people's reputation or the Navy's reputation.
Normal day as a Royal Navy photographer can be different every day. It's the best part of the job. You do not know what's going to go on the next day.
It's important to have Royal Navy photographers. That person that's got a bit of an artistic eye about them to go and tell interesting stories of what the Navy or the Royal Marines are doing around the world.
The things that we get to see and photograph and be involved in is nothing like what most civilian photographers get to do. One day we could be on a warship watching missiles being launched, or we could be in the desert with the Royal Marines doing a section attack.
We could be videoing jets, the next we could be interviewing the First Sea Lord. That variety is very broad for us.
AI can't replicate what you can do. We can't go out on the ground. We can't search out human interest stories. The AI can't find them things. There's got to be a face out there.
You can write and tell people what the Navy does, but you're never going to reach as many people than you will with a photographer.